Yeah, that's the whole thing. And you know when they clean that.
Dane's gonna go up there. If he gets here. If he doesn't, I'll jump in.
Oh, yeah.
You are, I'm just switching seats. See if anybody notices.
It's just how stuff's in there, yeah.
How are you doing?
What color?
How are you? Happy it's Thursday. Is it, you're thinking you only have one more day? Yeah.
Like orange?
I know what you mean.
Oh, no. I mean, at this point, you don't get freaking purple. Yeah. You just need something, yeah. Yeah.
Alright, for whatever reason, I can't stop the audio.
I don't know why we, this one and I have one other
No, not quite
Thursday,
like
you know?
But
Actually, I don't mind a Thursday because tomorrow's Friday.
I mean, it's only, it seems like it's low. I don't care what you want.
Yeah, and like you have to, you have your stuff to do as a result of the meeting, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate a Monday. I have a whole bunch. Oh, yeah, they're just all different ones. Usually Monday.
Yeah, I don't know why. Can't mute it like I used to.
Don't speak too soon.
Jinx stuff.
Probably sitting out the truck out there waiting.
Believe it or not,
I still feel like
Daniel, he's gonna be here
company
all
now,
over the
he's
stage.
about one day just
I'm coming every Thursday.
almost
He's
the
coming
same.
tomorrow. If he gets here, otherwise he'll go up there if he doesn't get here.
I might just do a picture.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah, unless it has like performance and stuff. No, it doesn't. Okay, okay. It could just be the pictures. Really? So it's not like it's.
Yeah, it's not massive.
No, no, you're right though, I see what you're saying, it's kind of knowledgeable. Right, yeah. It's close enough. If we can pump and move. If you can move, pump and.
Yeah, like up for years, I put them in the Dutch, and that's what they always complain about. And now, like, I'll tell you this last 2 years, it's, to me, the worst.
Oh, I just ran it out.
Nothing exciting.
Dinner champions.
That's a good thing, especially when you don't need too much of something. Yeah.
I was at the lunch range. Prior to one, 2 months ago, the last one I did was my for like extra credit.
Where's your tie at?
Not today.
Good, how are you?
Yeah.
Well, it's not like.
You there, just like,
Good, brother, how are you?
I like that. I gotta stay at the gym at 5. Well, those at my desk.
Thanks, sir.
And almost like me.
I did one.
All these people would think
We're getting, we're getting them there, Mike.
and then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay.
You want me to read it for you tomorrow?
That was something.
You're wearing glasses.
That's why you've been there.
But yeah, you know.
I didn't know, what are you guys doing? I'm bothered there.
Hey, you're good with that? You're good with whatever.
Why does it look so weird here?
Hey, so, I mean, you're all right with camera doc? Oh, I'll go with you. I don't care.
I'm already on.
Okay. No,
You're a resident.
oh, Gordon's a resident.
You'll be all right.
He uses whole 5 minutes.
This might be on purpose.
Yeah. It's good. How are you? Good. Good to see you.
What's up, Pat?
Hey.
like to call the Township of North Huntington Board of Commissioners work session meeting for Thursday, March 12th, 2026 at 7 PM. Roll call, Manager Falk.
Commissioner Hempel.
Here.
Commissioner Atwood.
Here.
Commissioner Gray.
Here.
Commissioner Zona.
Here.
Commissioner McGee.
Here.
Commissioner McHugh.
Here.
President Hagus.
Here, could everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If any residents would like to speak tonight, could you please sign the book at the podium? You're fine.
Just next line, I guess. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. First, residence William, if you come up to the podium to state your name and address for the record, please.
William Hardy, 11779 Crockett Street, down the hill in Larimer. I am also the coordinating chief for the North Huntington Township Volunteer Fire Departments. In talking with some of my fellow chiefs, looking at the agenda, we did see, and we have basically not here to debate, but two things with the township or the oversight committee for the fire departments. Number one, it says fire department oversight, but the police and EMS are on it too. So is it more aptly going to be a public safety oversight or mainly fire department oversight, but then having the police and EMS with it too? The second, it seems to be called a feasibility study, not an oversight. Again, that may be semantics or our understanding of it. But we hope tonight that we get a little bit more clarification on that. This is something that we have talked about at our township at our fire chiefs meetings. It is something we're in favor of. We just want to make sure that, number one, our voices are heard on the fire department side, and number two, if it is fire department related, that the firefighters / fire chiefs are the ones who are going to be not necessarily in charge of that committee, but have the biggest voice on that committee. Not necessarily, if it's the other organizations, then I think we need to reevaluate that with the police and EMS on it too. So that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next resident's Chuck. If you come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Charles Wolf, 7750 Pennsylvania Avenue, North Huntington, PA, representing Straw Pump Volunteer Fire Department. Our chief was out of town on his EMS job, so he couldn't be here tonight. And I'm here. I was asked to be here because of, and I understand, I did get your agenda for tonight, and I realize what I'm about to say, maybe not go with that particularly. But we do have a special interest in this because, as you all should know, our fire department has had ISO problems. And we're trying to get that remedied. In fact, we think we have it remedied. We did have our audit. I understand that the township manager has received that audit, or at least a report about it. And according to the Mr. Tyler, I think that's his name, Tyler, maybe that's his first name, I'm sorry, I'm not sure. But the guy from New Jersey said that he can't give us any evaluation directly because it's up to the township to decide what the future would hold for our department. And so I just want to say, I mean, this feasibility study, and again, I didn't know about, apparently there was one years ago, but it was turned down, I guess, because of the cost to ratio to the actual feasibility wasn't good. And I don't know if this is being brought up because of this issue with us or if it's just a general idea you've come up because of other townships having problems. But I just want to say that basically that we have, I feel, a unique interest in this study, and I hope that, when I first heard about the meeting, I thought maybe it was possibly, we were on this agenda, but then I found out we weren't. But we want to make sure that, we really would like to get our area back and get that all settled. So I just wanted to say my 2 cents about that, so I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you, sir. Is there any other residents who would like to speak tonight that didn't get a chance to sign the book at the podium? All right, not seeing any responses, citizen input. I believe both residents spoke a little bit about the Township Fire Service Committee. Does the board want to address that at that time? Work session discussion topics, Manager Falk.
Item number 1, donation of vehicle to the NHT North Huntington Township EMS. They've requested a donation of the vehicle that's sitting outside. It's a 2018 Ford Explorer with 109,000 miles on it. I did attach a picture of it in your packet. Are there any questions? Is the board interested in moving forward for a motion or an action of next week to donate this vehicle to the North Huntington Township EMS?
Is this
Why- Go ahead.
is this a retired police cruiser, or?
Yes, it is. The vehicle's been taken out of service.
And why is that?
I believe the chief can answer, but typically due to the high mileage.
Yeah, it's high mileage,
So-
and there's a lot of error codes that come up, and then you start chasing those error codes. It's just not cost effective to maintain possession of those cars once they start to trip those error codes.
How many error codes is the limit that we?
I don't know.
uh,
I can
so-
find out for you.
Would the vehicle be able to pass inspection?
I believe not. I could contact Sergeant Drysdale, who handles our vehicle maintenance, and get you a more specific reason.
I'm curious why it's out of service, and the mileage is just not good enough, just because it has so many miles on it. I mean, we're going to give it to somebody else who's going
Right.
to use it.
My concern would be just the safety part of it. You know, there again, if you don't know for sure, Chief, if we could get it inspected, and there again, if we can't get it inspected, then it means it's just not safe.
Normally, whenever
So-
these come to end of life, using them for patrol, pursuits, and is a lot more stressful on these vehicles than responding to emergency calls with an ambulance. And then the safety factors come into play. But I can get you an itemized list of the things that are absolutely wrong with it.
Okay, thank you.
I was going to add to that too. When it's being used as a police vehicle, they're probably used almost
Yes.
24 hours straight every day too.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of stress. And if you said if they have to get involved in a pursuit, where if this is going to EMS, it's probably going to be used a couple hours a day maybe.
Yeah, it's a support vehicle, normally
Yeah.
used as a support vehicle if they have to transport additional personnel to a scene, or they have to, transport other things to hospitals. They don't use it as an emergency vehicle, per se.
Understood.
Does the EMS know the condition of the vehicle?
Absolutely. Okay, yeah. They get the spreadsheet.
I guess just one thing for the chief and manager. I mean, we have donated vehicles before in the past to either volunteer fire departments and Rescue 8, so this is not something outside the normal that we would do.
Right.
All right. Well, chief, maybe you could get a few of those questions back to us
Absolutely.
by next week, and
Yeah,
we can
next
make a
week's
decision
meeting.
at that time.
Yep, I'll provide those all for you.
All right, thank you, chief.
All right, item number 2 is proposed solar ordinance. I'll turn it over to Director Bonity.
Yes. We wanted to address the questions that you guys brought up at the last work session last month, and we made a few changes to the ordinance that you all received copies of, and those changes are highlighted in yellow. We added some definitions to the ordinance that were not in the current zoning ordinance, and also made some restrictions on height restrictions and things as far as decommissioning some of these sites that the developers required to submit bonds and estimates for ahead of time. And I'm trying to think here of anything else. Did you guys have any questions on anything in particular?
I did have I had a couple questions. On, under the definitions, we have a definition of abandoned. It says it's left vacant for continuous period of 12 months or more.
Correct.
Then later on, 2 pages back, under number 9, under the utility scale solar energy systems, number 9, subsection B there says a solar facility shall be deemed abandoned if disconnected from the grid for a period of 6 consecutive months. Well, I think that confused me because I think they're kind of conflicting.
Yes, well, the 12-month definition is from the MPC. That's the
Okay.
MPC definition of abandonment.
Maybe we take this other one out of here then. And
The 6 months?
I'm just, because in the front it says if it abandoned, it has to be 12 months consecutive. Then here it says to be abandoned, it's 6 months. And then even the next section, does that mean, it says within 12 months of abandonment, all panels and supports shall be removed. So that means that if we're going to go with the abandonment of 12 months, then you wait another 12 months.
Up to another 12 months for them
So,
to
okay, to
restore
remove it.
Restore the site.
Within 12 months of abandonment, okay. But I don't know, I got confused with the definition of abandonment and with that section. And then if you go one more page to the very last page under decommissioning, it has that same thing that it says 6 months again there.
So we can use 6 months, or we can stick with the
Yeah.
MPC definition of 12 months.
I would probably say MPC, it'll just be easier. I would recommend MPC, thank you. Simply because it'll be easier to enforce, easier to cite to a state statute as opposed to simply an ordinance, so thank you.
That's okay.
Does the board have any other questions or recommendation for changes?
What were the changes that related to solar heating as far as domestic hot water or pool water, pool heater?
So that was accessory solar energy systems.
Pardon?
And if you go to F, the bottom of that, where it says a building permit shall be required prior to installation. If the homeowner gets confused and applies for a building permit for a hot water heating system that's laid on the roof using hoses or something in that manner, they would very quickly find out and realize that they didn't need a permit for it.
And what section, F?
It's exemptions on the last page.
That would be C as in Charlie,
Oh.
accessory solar energy system. The general requirements, the letter F at the bottom.
Okay.
That covers your home solar systems, people that have solar panels on their houses or yard placements on posts and things like that. It would be redundant to create an entire list of what's not
Right.
needed as far as a permit.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Does the board have any other questions or changes? I guess the board's comfortable with that. We can make that one change for the decommissioning of just 12 months so it goes throughout the whole ordinance. And then
Yes.
if board's comfortable with that, we could bring this back for next week for approval.
Right, next week it would be a motion to advertise. All right. Item number 3, summer help positions. As you know, we do hire summer help to help with our Parks Department and cut our vacant properties. Recreational coordinator, Ms. Kincaid would like to hire one for some summer help at about 10 or 15 hours per week. There were some questions at last month's meeting as far as legality and offering benefits. Under what we've found, if these are considered temporary seasonal employees, that as long as they stay under 30 hours per week or 130 hours per month, then they're considered temporary, and we do not have to offer benefits. Even if after a time period they can go back and look and see if they worked more hours, then we'd have to offer them benefits. So we just have to watch their time cards. You know, we used to have them working 40 hours a week, but we're going to have to reduce that down to about 2 or 3 days, or about 3 days a week, 24 hours, 3 days a week for those positions, for the Parks Department. But as far as Lydia's position, the seasonal part-time is just approximately 10 to 15 hours per week to help with her recreational planning and events. Are there any questions concerning the summer help positions? And if not, we'll have an action item at next week's meeting to advertise for those positions. Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, amending the fee schedule ordinance. Our tax collector had requested some changes, some additional fees and an increase of fees, and we took that opportunity to do another fine comb. We looked through it more deeply. So some of the increases that we propose to implement for the board's consideration is increase the tax duplicate from $5 to $10, add a tax certification fee of $40, add application fee of $50 for residential and $100 for commercial permits. Right now, you can submit a permit and it's no cost, but there's some legwork that the administration has to do on the back end, even if that permit is approved or denied. Again, all we're doing is just trying to recoup some of the cost of doing some business. Add home occupation to commercial occupancy permit. Increase the use variance from $750 to $900. Increase dimensional and area variances from $600 to $750. Increase special exemption from home occupation from $300 to $450. Increase other special exception from $600 to $750. Increase change or expansion of nonconforming use from $600 to $750. Increase other nonspecific appeals or interpretations from $300 to $450. Increase zoning permit from $30 to $50. And add language under the stormwater management, the small project exempt and no harm fee of $350 and a full stormwater of $100 plus review fees, and add language to in-ground pools to the miscellaneous fees section. Right now it just covers above-ground pools. Are there any questions about the changes that the administration would like to see to the fee schedule?
Yeah, Manager Falk, I just have one question. In comparison to other municipalities, are we in line with these fees, comparable?
We are in line with these fees now.
Okay.
Commissioner Hempel, if I can add, we were very low, and we had been low for many years. We've compared with other municipalities in the area, and we were always the cheapest, in lack of better terms, as far as our permitting. So this just kind of gets in line with our neighbors and the industry, and to cover costs.
Thank you.
I have a question on under the administration, what's the tax certification? Is that for a tax preparer or something? What is it? The one that you're adding, that D?
Correct. It's to verify that the owner is up to date on their taxes. And before there was no charge. But now there will be a charge of $40. And the tax collector gets that amount.
Okay. And then I have a question on the next one too, under occupancy, where you added a home occupation. What is that? Can you explain what that means there? Because you're adding that to the commercial occupancy?
Sure. Director,
The-
or Assistant
The
Manager.
the home occupation?
Yeah.
So that's just if somebody has like a home business that they're applying for, like if they do taxes or
Out of their
they
house.
cut hair out of their house.
Okay.
That's just the fee for that.
Does that have to be somebody who has clients coming to their home or anyone who runs a business out of their home?
Anyone.
I had a question under stormwater management, the small projects exempt or
Mhm.
no harm. Do we have a lot of legwork to do for reviewing those, or?
From what I can tell from the fee, it doesn't seem to be. Cody Grabiak would be able to answer that, but he's not here tonight. But he handles those applications.
Yeah, I was just curious to go from, I'm assuming nothing to 350. It's a pretty substantial jump there, especially if it's exempt or no harm.
Right.
Then also, is there any verbiage for the in-ground pools? Because I didn't see any under miscellaneous. If it was supposed to be added in there, and it was left out.
Let me pull it up. Oh, yes, I see. It just says above-ground swimming pools. It was not added for in-ground pools, but that would be added for your packet for advertisement.
Okay.
Is there any other questions or comments?
Just a couple comments. Just be aware, there's a couple random exclamation marks. Under zoning, C, letter C, there's some zoning hearing board appeals.
Yeah, I
So
think
just
that's possible whenever they switched over for the transition from a PDF to a Word document.
Okay, just so they're cleared up. There's a couple.
We'll fix those.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if the board don't have any other questions, maybe we could ask Engineer Grabiak about the stormwater small projects, and we could put that on the agenda for next week and probably be here and answer.
Mhm. Yeah, the next item would be next week to advertise for the ordinance, and during your discussion, you'd be able to ask him. All right, item number 5, field sponsorship signs. I'll turn this over to Coordinator Kincaid.
Thank you. So this field sponsorship was something we discussed during our budget meetings at the end of last year to potentially introduce this year. So it is something that we did in my previous place of employment. So basically, local businesses can opt in to have a field sponsorship, and they would pick a location, one of our fields, athletic fields or baseball fields within the township. They would pay a fee. We would have a banner printed for their business, and they would submit the artwork for that, so they can choose what's on their banner that would fit the dimensions of the banner. We would have it printed and displayed on the fence of the ball field or athletic field for a calendar year from when it goes up. So they would have an entire year to advertise their business on the ball field. It's just a way to bring in extra revenue to the Parks Fund. I have 2 different recommended amounts. One would be for a new sponsorship. So that would include, it's a higher amount because it would include the cost of printing the banner. And then one would be a renewal price. So say a business signs up 1 year and then they're interested in renewing the next year, it'd be a lower price to remove the cost of the banner. And then whatever supplies or cost to hang it, all of that. So they can either pay a new price for the sponsorship or a renewal price if they continue on, as long as the banner is still in good condition to keep up on the field. So again, it's just a way to bring in additional revenue to our Parks Fund to continue funding community events, programs, and whatnot for the Parks Department.
A quick question. If these banners become damaged, whether or by the activities that are going on, who's responsible for replacing them for that?
So we would reprint them. There are methods that you can use to help with like the wind and whatnot. We would have little half circle cutouts throughout the banner to help with the wind and weather. So that really helps deter any damage from weather. As far as vandalism, there's always a risk for anything we do in our parks, unfortunately, for things to be vandalized. But yeah, so we would, if it's within the calendar year, they paid for the banner or they paid for the sponsorship, we would reprint it for them.
Coordinator Kincaid, that is the price of the $85 just to reprint them or replace
Yes,
them?
that's if we we typically use fund services to print banners for different events. That's the current price for a 3x6 banner. Hopefully in the future, we will be able to get equipment to print signs and banners ourselves within house. So for now, we would have to send the graphic out to be printed, but if hopefully in the future, we would be able to print it ourselves just with cost of materials to print.
Any other questions from the board?
I would just suggest adding under the renew sponsorship, putting an asterisk and explaining that about the $85 if it's not in good condition.
Okay.
I think that's what it said on the other side, is that if it's not in good condition, the next year when they renew, you would get a new banner, correct?
Correct. They would have to
Yeah.
pay the full amount if they needed a new banner.
Yeah, I would just
Okay.
clarify that there.
Okay, can do that, definitely.
All right, thank you.
Is the board in consensus to move forward with this? I don't think there's any board action we could do this administratively if the board is good with this. All right, well, thank you. Item number 6, Norwin Lacrosse Club sponsorship signs at Oak Hollow Park.
So, Norwin Lacrosse Club, they rent our athletic field at Oak Hollow Park, the one, when you come into the park, it's not the soccer field to the left that you can see, it's the one to the right up on the hill that you really only see whenever you're up on the hill, whenever you're there. So they are requesting, they haven't done this yet, but they are looking to introduce a sponsorship program for their teams to offset costs of rental prices, not just our athletic field rental price, but the cost to rent indoor facilities to train in the off season. They want to have team sponsors to offset costs and have signs made for their team sponsors and post them on the fence of our athletic field at Oak Hollow, just for their season, which they are there April and May every year. So it would just be those 2 months. They would have them up for their games and their practices. So they were looking to get approval to do that before they introduce that program for their club.
What kind of signs would that be?
I'm assuming it would be a banner, something that they could hang. So similar to what we would do with the ball fields, but they would do it in a location that would really only be seen by the people that are using the field for their games or practices. And with that field, they rent it out for the entirety of the spring season from us. So they are the only ones that use that field.
The banner's going to be up continuously or only while they are there?
It would, from my understanding, it would be continuously for those 2 months.
Is the board okay with that? I wasn't sure, that's why I wanted to bring it to the board.
Here again, I would ask about damage or vandalism. We would have to make it clear it's their responsibility.
Okay. Would we want to have a contract or just have them, I don't know which would be the best route. Have them sign saying like they are not, or they are responsible work.
The solicitor should comment on that.
I mean, absolutely, you could have them sign a contract, a quick waiver. I mean, it doesn't have to be huge. It could be a one-pager, and there also might be some sort of insurance available, I don't know. So, thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions or concerns? We will do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 7, the North Huntington Township Fire Service Feasibility Study. I took the comments from the January meeting and drafted a resolution establishing that committee, similar to kind of how we did it with the steering committee for the comprehensive plan. Are there any questions about this draft, any changes that the board would like to see for the next draft?
I think we should address what was brought up here today from a couple of the chiefs that spoke. Did we discuss that? And I don't remember about the EMS and the police being on this when we discussed it the first time.
I don't believe so. I think, doesn't really mention it here. It just shows that the committee will be comprised of the following people.
Right.
Between the fire chief, fire department president or designated administrative person, EMS chief, police chief designee, township manager or designated administrative staff, and no more than 3 township commissioners. Unless I overlooked it, it doesn't really say like voting members. I think, in my humble opinion, the fire chiefs would be the voting members, as well as, the administrative position or fire chief from that department. And I think I'd be comfortable having, someone from the police department or EMS be kind of like a non-voting member. And I also brought up to Manager Falk, probably having a township, Rob Mahinsky maybe be also involved with emergency management as like a non-voting member as well. In my opinion, I think that the fire chiefs and the administrative representative from the fire department should be the voice and kind of voting members of the organization, and the other emergency services staff could be obviously participate but non-voting members of the organization.
If I may, the reason why I added the EMS chief, because they have the rescue truck, and then the fire departments have rescue tools, so, that was my thinking. And you brought up voting. I don't think they're going to be voting or anything. I think they're just going to be.
Yeah, but I mean, I think, when you create an organization, obviously, hopefully, they'll be coming back to here with recommendations. So I think,
Okay.
as far as like, the organization goes of giving recommendations, I'm sure they'll have to take votes when they give it some form of type of recommendation to this board. So
Okay.
I would imagine that, like I said, just my opinion, the fire departments would be the voting members, and then the non-voting members between EMS chief and police chief are, voicing their opinions, concerns, what they have to do with dealing with the fire departments, through emergency response, and same with the emergency management coordinator. Like I said, that's just my opinion, but
You're right on that.
Can we keep the township manager and the up to 3 commissioners non-voting as well?
I mean, I'd be comfortable with that. I mean, I think we should take part in, their discussion, but obviously the fire departments, I think, like I said, this is just my opinion, but I want to hear what they want to hear, and it's really, they're the volunteers, so I want them to come back with their recommendation to this board.
I mean, this board is going to be, we're going to.
Craig, if you want to speak, you mind coming up real quick?
This board is going to be
put together for us to make these decisions and bring them back to the commissioners that are not on the board, and then that'll be for your voting end of it. Like you said, the fire department, that's gonna be us. EMS, police, as long, taking opinions from them, that's fine, but not having the direction from them for our job, we wouldn't be given the direction for their job.
Correct.
But it'd be coming back to the commissioners for the final vote on what we decide in this committee. Is that how you?
That's how
envision
I
that?
personally envision it, but.
Okay. So,
Are you guys all, is everyone good with that?
everybody go with that?
Yeah, that's, what Zach had up there, that's what we agree with.
It just threw us
Okay.
off when we seen that
Yeah.
in the agenda, where it was going.
And I know when we discussed this last month, that's what we said, we got to make sure it's the right thing. It's that we're doing the right committee and making the right decisions here moving forward. We want to make sure it's, at least me, I want to make sure you guys are good with that that's the way it should be, and I agree with
It's
that.
ultimately
Okay.
the best interest of the public and the community,
Yep.
so.
What
So
about- I'm
we just
sorry.
want to clarify in there who's voting members of the
Yeah,
committee and
just
who's
be
not.
the fire chiefs and then
Yeah.
designated administrative staff of the fire
Okay.
department.
Yeah,
And then,
that'd be the top two, the first two bullet points. Yeah.
and then the other members will be committee members, but non-voting committee members. And then the voting committee members will give the recommendation back to this board where we can make decisions.
Yes.
And just to clarify, where it says fire chiefs and fire department president, you mean one from each department? not just
Correct,
one
yeah,
in general?
Two from each. Two from
Two from
yeah.
each.
Two from
Yeah, two of
each.
each, one from each
Yeah.
position.
Yes,
Correct.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll clarify that in the.
Yep.
Zach, can you get a copy of that resolution?
Yes, sir, you can.
It's also on our website. If you go under agenda, it's located there too.
Manager Faulkner, you'll be updating that with?
Yeah,
any-
we'll update it for next week's meeting.
So that's not the final copy anyway, we're gonna,
Yeah.
it's
This
gonna
used
be,
to be the draft.
it'll be amended,
Yeah.
yeah.
So does the board want to see those changes and put on the agenda for next week for consideration?
I'm good with it, yeah.
I had one other question. How many people are we looking to put on the committee? We looking, 1-to-1 ratio, 2-to-1 ratio, or just however it works out
For,
for representing the township? Because there'll be 14 from the fire departments.
yeah, I think in the proposed, it had up to 3 commissioners and then a designated
Manager.
person from the staff, whether it be the manager, assistant manager, or someone else from the staff.
It's going to be a large committee.
That's why I was just curious, that's
Yeah.
all. I wasn't looking for an exact number.
No, yeah.
If we had a ballpark idea
Yeah.
of, how we were gonna try and set it
And
up.
I ultimately envision it that the volunteers and the fire departments are going to be the driver of it. I think between administrative staff and the police department, EMS is just there for more help and maybe guidance if there's different areas that the fire departments want guidance from.
Well, that too, and then you got someone sitting on that committee that can bring back to the rest of the commissioners and
Yeah.
to be able to bring back what's going on, giving the update, a little bit of education on what's going on to the ones that maybe not know. too.
Looks like maybe a max of 20 people, I think, if you count
Yeah,
on that.
no, I'm not holding the fire in anybody's seat, I was just
Yeah.
curious.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think maybe we can add one fire department can donate dinner that night. Rotate it through. All right, item number 8, audit for the 2025 financial statements. We put an RFP out back in January and received 3 proposals. Turnley Robertson and Associates, our current auditor, quoted us at $14,500. Zelenkoski Axelrod is at $19,000, and Mayor Duzel is at $32,500. According to the PA First Class Township Code, the township's not required to select the lowest bidder for professional services, and professional services are defined as specialized expertise and technical skills. The Zelenkoski at Axelrod does do Irwin's, and Ross Travers nearby did speak to Sherry, the manager at Irwin, and they have not had any issues with their audit. And as you can tell, that the email I sent out a few weeks ago, the governor did sign into law that the audits aren't due to the DCED until, I believe it was in June, instead of the April deadline. So they did extend that. Looking over, it would be my recommendation to go with Zelenkoski and Axelrod, just simply because, they, Turnley Robertson and Associates has been our auditor for a number of years. Their audits have been late. I did read a news article the other day that one of their clients, Elizabeth Burrow, just had their audit approved by them, of 2024 audit. It was just approved last month. So we're not the only municipality. And they only have a team of about 10 individuals doing about 100 municipalities and school districts. So with that recommendation, is there any questions?
Yes, other than Irwin, excuse me, other than Irwin, who is the other municipality you mentioned?
Ross Straver is nearby.
Ross Straver. Oh, I know we're not comparable size-wise to Irwin. What about Ross Straver? Are they more like Irwin or more like us?
I wouldn't be able to answer that, but they are a township, and I believe they might be a second-class township.
They're more similar to us, but I mean, they're not as big.
I would compare them to like Penn Township.
Yeah.
They're starting their residential boom as far as development.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't foresee any issues, but I don't have a crystal ball, but they do have a large, I don't have the proposal in front of me, the commissioners have it in their packet, but they seem to be doing a lot of audits out east. And maybe they're wanting to expand in this area, I'm not sure, but they do Irwins and Ross Stravers in this area. I didn't reach out to Ross Straver, I just spoke to Irwin next door.
So they are based out east, or?
I believe they have an office here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they have all this.
And of course, if you watch a lottery at 7 o'clock, they do audit those numbers.
Okay.
They have City of Erie, Meadville, and Reserve Township. Reserve Township is, up on 28, and they are a first-class township in Allegheny County.
I know Mayor Dussel is very expensive, but I do know that we had them before and they were very good.
Yeah, I've worked with them before in another municipality. They are very good. I would love to have them, but at the end of the day, the audit is done by a professional firm, so to be not wasteful with tax dollars, money, that going from 19,000 to 32,000, basically for the same set of auditing, it just makes sense to go with the Zelenkoski and Axelrod. And they do have an office on Pittsburgh on McKnight Drive.
Any other questions from the board?
And it's also good to have, different auditors come through, just to make sure that, the books are clean. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. If we're making any mistakes, they'll be caught. If you have a same auditor every year, things may become complacent. So it's always good to have a fresh set of eyes.
So, I apologize, but I know you said there was an email about, so does that start this year, that it's June instead of April, or does that start next year?
I'd have to look back in my email, but sometimes there's like effective 60 days.
Yeah.
I didn't see the exact language. I just saw the alert that I got from one of the associations that the governor did sign into law that these are taking effect. So I would assume it would be this year.
Okay, and so then if we were, whichever one we go with, then we likely will be turning our audit in on time? We will get it in time?
That's a
or-
strong possibility, yes.
Okay, good.
Which is our goal.
Yeah.
Every year.
I think you have some direction, Manager Falk.
Okay, there'll be an action item next week to appoint them as our auditing firm for 2025.
Thank you.
Would we have to adjust the budget accordingly?
We will. I do plan on doing a budget revision next month, and that'll be seen in that, or reflected in his numbers.
Thank you, Manager Falk. Community development topics. Community Development Director Bonity.
I was going to handle this month
Okay.
and then officially give the reins to Tom
All right.
the next meeting cycle. So the Planning Commission meeting on Monday the 2nd, we had 3 items come through. The first is this Columbia Gas land development. And this was something that was tabled by the Planning Commission back in November due to nobody showing up to represent the plan. This is on Ipnar Road. It's 16.7 acres owned by Michael and Angela Kugler at 2810 Ipnar Road. And Columbia Gas basically did a taking on their property. So where the red star is, Columbia Gas wants to put a regulator station, driveway, and a 472 square foot building. So we did receive a letter from the Public Utility Commission saying they're exempt from local ordinances and this and that. And so we've been working with Columbia Gas. We've at least got them to agree to a stormwater management plan and a landscaping plan. And we've connected the homeowner with Columbia Gas to work on that landscape plan so that all parties are happy. Again, we couldn't stop this because this was an actual taking by the gas company of these people's property. So it's something they just have to live with. So I did want to bring this through officially to get an approval so that we can put those conditions on a resolution and hold them to those 2 items that they will post bonding for. The Planning Commission approved this by a vote of 6-0 at their meeting. Here's a little more in-depth. There's the driveway pad coming off of Ipnar, little stormwater pond in the front, and then there's a swale and some piping and riprap and end wall to kind of chase the water around that. And then here's the latest version of the landscape plan. This is still evolving between the homeowner and the gas company, but they're working on screening it so basically the homeowner doesn't see it from their front door. That it's a little more pleasing to the eye. Any questions on this one? Okay, the next item is the Willow Estates 4 revision. This is over on Derby Court in the Willow Estates development, and this is 4 existing lots, and they are to have the single-family attached building style on there, which is basically 1 building and 2 units with the property line going down the center line of the building. And the Willow Glen development needs to adjust these lot lines because Miranda is going to be the builder on these lots, and they have a different floor plan than some of the other ones. So here's what the lots look like now, and then they're going to adjust slightly. So this is what they're looking like. So the darker shade of the like color is going to be added to that. The only concern that staff had was there's a flag lot, a flag portion to the right of the orange lot that leads back to the stormwater management pond that the township will eventually be taking over. We haven't taken it over yet because it hasn't been dedicated by the developer. So that narrowed a little bit, but there's still an existing easement that provides ample room for us to get equipment back there when the time comes that we do have to get in there and maintain it, mow it, cut it, pull trees out, whatever. Planning Commission recommended this by a vote of 6-0 as well. Just a simple lot line adjustment. Any questions on that one? Okay, and lastly is the Raymond Sly plan. This is just heading out of North Irwin on Northview Drive. This involves 2 property owners. The blue parcel is owned by the Raymond family, and the yellow triangle is part of a larger piece owned by the Slys. And there's a small triangle. It's actually 0.09 acres in size, and the purpose of this subdivision was for the Raymonds and the blue to acquire that small triangle. I guess this was a handshake deal decades ago with Mr. Sly, who owns the yellow. He has since passed on, and now his children have taken over that lot, but Mr. Raymond still wanted to make that deal official. So it does touch the Raymond lot by a point. So again, I always say there's no beauty contest for subdivisions, and this definitely wouldn't win. But it is legal per our ordinances. So that's all they're swapping is that small triangle there. Again, this was approved 6-0 by the Planning Commission, and I'll take any questions on that.
Thank you, Assistant Manager Fonzie.
Yes, President Hagus, I did have one thing to
Yep.
add. Chelsea had whispered that we need to acknowledge the executive session that was held on
Yep,
Monday.
I was
night.
getting there.
Okay,
Yep,
thank you.
yep, thank you. Any questions for Assistant Manager Fonzie? And old business, Township Commissioners held executive session Monday, to talk about personnel matters. Any further board comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor by saying an aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Meeting adjourned at 7:50. Executive session to follow, talk about personnel and legal matters.
I know, really.
Are you freezing?
I'm always cold, come on, blood thinners. Did he say 7:50? Is that what it is?
I didn't pay attention.
Must have been.
It must have been just 7:50, 59 seconds.